Alright, so we're recording. This is a video response to Waddler D's Let's Unite movement. It is a very interesting video, and I figured I might as well go ahead and do a video response to this so that video can garner a little bit more attention, because I would really like for my followers to see what he's up to and how he's reflecting upon how the LP community has gotten and hear from his perspective. So I'll have it in the video. I have it linked in the video maybe as an annotation, so you guys can go ahead and check his video out. And this mic is too far away from me, and I look like complete shit right now, pardon my language. But I just came back from work, and I saw his video through a tweet at work, so I decided to come back, rush home, and get a video out because it's concerning one of my most important, or one of my most important topics that is the LP community and how it's changed over, well, the course that I've been doing this hobby, which is almost 4 years now. And basically, what Waddler D says, I'll summarize it. Basically, he goes into saying that people, well, the bigger LPers should do more shout-outs. A lot of the stuff that, it's good. It sounds good, but I think that YouTube is a very different system now than it was when I first started out. And a lot of what Waddler D says would have worked 4 years ago. That's the problem, because it's just the way how YouTube operates now. If a big Let's Player does a video game of a certain kind, whether it be like a Mario game or a popular game that everybody knows, and if they started out earlier, chances are their LPs are going to get the most views. So if a new viewer wants to type in a game in the search engine, they're going to get the bigger LPers version of that game first before the smaller LPers version. That's just how it is now. Especially with partnerships, you have this feature called featured video, or featured playlist rather. I think both of those functions exist. But basically, if you're a partner, you could just feature all of your crap, and that's going to be the first thing that pops up on the page when people look up games. So the game has changed. The Let's Playing game in general has changed. And with those changes, we're going to have to call in new measures of how we could branch out to the young blood, as I like to call them, and make them not feel so isolated. Because I definitely recognize the fact that it is a lot harder for newer Let's Players who are starting out. And a lot of them are just getting discouraged, and they're just stopping it altogether because, well, they're only getting like 3, 4, 5 subscribers, or in some cases 3, 4, 5 viewers, and nobody's really subscribing, and it's just really, really hard to get your foot in the door in this community these days. But going off of what Waddler D says, in terms of the Let's Play community sort of being like this cafeteria, you see, the Let's Play community has always been segregated, like in terms of ideals and policies and stuff like that. So that hasn't changed. It's the only thing that's really different now are these networks that are dividing up the YouTube community. See, before that, the first real segregation that the Let's Player community had was the Something Awful forum versus YouTube Let's Play. And what YouTube Let's Play was basically known for is it was shitty quality, and that's the stigma that it carried for a very long time. And the people from Something Awful got super pissed about it, and they basically made videos, the Red Supre's doing their thing. They still are, and I've been subscribed to them for a very long time, but they're good people. But that was really the first rift, and from then on, the Let's Player community has sort of grown off of these rifts. But what it did was it inspired a lot of creativity within us Let's Players 4 years ago, and we let that work to our advantage. So YouTube Let's Plays after a while started just growing in quality anyway. Basically the more of us who did it, the more people who actually gave a shit about their Let's Plays and actually made them good quality. In terms of, so I mean the whole cafeteria thing, that's inevitable because that's how it started. That's how it all started. In terms of being individualistic, I will agree that it's becoming a lot more individualistic. Um, a lot of people are just out for themselves. They're out for the views. And, that's why I tried to tell people a long time ago, if you're in it for the views, then get the hell out of the game. And, with the whole situation with that, a lot of people are just taking advantage of the system. But you're always going to have your few dicks within the community who are going to do that. I mean, there are people who are just going to cheat and claw their way up to the top. And for a lot of people, it's worked. And unfortunately, there's some of the more well-known Let's Players around in this community. I'm not saying that all the top LPers are bad, but there are a few who have definitely bent, some things here and there just to try to get up on top. One of the things that really pisses me off that I've been seeing a lot lately is a lot of people, they sort of break the 3-month rule. And I know a lot of people are sort of against that because, it's YouTube, why do we have to follow policies of a message board that we're not even a part of? And I can understand that, but the thing is, if you do a game the day it comes out, you're really doing it just for the views, and anybody can see that. And what it does, it might get you those views, but your reputation with your fellow Let's Players, it goes down the toilet. Because we pretty much know what you're up to, and it ain't cool. That's basically how it's going now. But a lot of new LPers, unfortunately, resorting to that. And it's really sad to see, so much wasted potential. I mean, they're growing fast, but they're going to grow corrupt as well. And these people, they don't have, a lot of these newer Let's Players don't really have like a stern hand to guide them in the right direction. And the problem with that is the bigger Let's Players would be glad to help, but there's so many new Let's Players. And the thing is, see, this is a really big problem because I could literally just go on forever. I mean, it's already been 8 minutes now, and God, it looked terrible. But it just goes on. Like the problems just keep going and going. Like I don't even know where to continue on this part anymore because it's just so insane. I hate to tell people that if you would have joined years ago when the system was a lot different and when there were a lot less of us, then because it's true because YouTube has changed and this community has basically grown into an extremely competitive community because there's so many of us now. So it's just the way things are that have created these situations. And, like these networks, they are dividing us, and I've felt it, being a part of a network myself, there's these rifts that are growing on, but that's just how it's going to be, that nobody's going to stop it. It's just going to keep continuing into what it's going to be, and wherever these networks are going to do, whatever, there's always going to be something new that comes along that people are going to complain about. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So if it's not networks, it's going to be something else in the future that's going to further separate all of us Let's Players together. But in terms of making a site that all of us go to, that's going to be really, really hard. It's been done many times before. As a matter of fact, Something Awful was where Let's Play started, and that was supposed to be what you said it is, Waddler D. That was where the central hub of Let's Players should be because that's where it started. But it drifted off into YouTube, and now it just kind of remained here in YouTube because whenever a viewer wants to view a video log or a walkthrough of a game, they're not going to go to something awful immediately, or they're not going to go to game FAQs immediately. If they're going to want to see a video walkthrough of a video game, they're going to go to YouTube first, and chances are they're not going to go to any other website. Which brings me to another thing. You can't really control what viewers want to see. You just can't do it. You can give shout-outs all day these days. And it's not like in the olden days where, you'd give a shout-out and the viewer would be all excited, be like, hey, there's a new LPer and he's doing a game that I like. That might be cool. Might check that out. Now, it's just sort of like everybody's sort of doing the same games. And it's just like you can give out shout-outs to like 10 people and it's just sort of like, oh, new LPers, but they're doing the same game. So the attitude amongst the viewers is a lot different now. What you also have to understand is that a lot of viewers these days, like 70% of, I'd say roughly 70% of the Let's Player viewer base is mainly teenagers, youth, basically, and they all really just have concrete interest in only certain games. So one of the main reasons why is a lot of Let's Players aren't really getting a lot of attention is that the concrete fan base of this community is already fixated on one or two LPers. I mean, that's really all one viewer needs, is to watch like 5 LPers. I mean, I can barely keep up with 10, and to be honest, I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't seen a full Let's Play from anybody in over a year. I just haven't had the time, because there are so many of my friends who are doing it now, and it's sort of like so many of my friends are doing like 2 projects, and it's like I can barely keep up anymore. That's why I sort of sympathize with my own fan base when I put out stuff. That's why I only put it out sparingly, and that's only why I'm doing 1 LP at a time, because sometimes 2 projects from one Let's Player, it could be a lot. And it could be too much, because you have to keep up with like 10 other Let's Players that you promised to watch, and it sort of becomes like a chore after a while. Like, literally watching Let's Players can become a chore, especially if all 10 that you watch are big Let's Players. So where is the room for the viewer to incorporate those 2 extra smaller Let's Players? There's no room, because they're not going to watch them. They might subscribe to them, but they might not watch them all the time, and that's just how the behavior of the Let's Player viewership has been. If that makes any sense to you guys. I don't know if I'm wording this correctly or not, and I'm thirsty as hell because I've been talking for like non-stop. Nirvana for the win, by the way. Anyway, it's a very different community now than it was 4 years ago. YouTube as a system basically works to shank everybody over. Even if you're popular now, YouTube really cares more about people they bring in from the professional industry more so than the amateur. Like, YouTube is no longer a website for the amateur people anymore. This basically was revealed when Google purchased YouTube a long time ago. Once Google took over, features have expanded, but at the same time, look what it cost us. Now we have all these companies like Disney and fucking Warner Brothers and all of these, corporations that are invading us and taking away our views, because they're the ones providing the most content, and all it is just movie trailers. That's what YouTube is now. It's just a sell flack for movies. And a lot of what made YouTube special back in 2008 when I first started, was it 2008? No, it was 2009, I think. That's what made YouTube so special, because it was about you. And not these big corporate tycoons who insist on drawing people with advertisements. Go figure, because I have mine turned on. And, it definitely helps with my situation. I have these advertisements turned on, so it's sort of like a double-edged sword, It's not that I want you guys to sit through them, but it certainly helps me out. And that's why everybody wants to be partnered, because who wouldn't want to be paid to play games? You can't really blame people for, wanting to be partnered, and that's why all these new partner networks are starting to sprout out. So now we have further division of the community, because of all these new partner networks coming up, and everybody's joining them, and people are becoming territorial about those networks. On top of that, that increases competition, and basically I'm explaining a problem that really cannot be solved by anybody. It's just going to keep growing and growing and growing, and there's nothing anybody can really do about it. I mean, you could make a website or a group thing, all you want to, but it's been done before. It's been attempted before. I mean, there are people, oh, holy crap, man, come on. I mean, there have been websites. A long time ago, I tried a website that would bring Let's Players together, but not all of the Let's Players are going to hear about this website, at least not immediately, and the thing is, a lot of people may not choose to partake of it. Ultimately, it's really going to be hard to pull off. It's really going to be hard to persuade Let's Players to all pitch in like that. It's just not going to work that easily. It's probably not going to work at all, to be honest, and I don't mean to be a negative Nancy about it, but it's just, Let's Playing, it's just too far deep into what it has become that there's really no way out of it. There's really no way to reverse the process. To put these partnerships, beside us and, view each other as brothers and sisters, because to be honest, it's, you have to understand the audience and what the audience wants. And if the audience is satisfied with the 3 Let's Players that they're watching respectively each, then how can you force people to watch this brand new Let's Player that's coming up? Because believe me, for every Let's Player, there's like 5 more, at least, who are doing the same types of games and who are just as funny as the first Let's Player who want to get views. And to be honest, it's like, who needs to watch 5 Chugga Conroys? Who needs to watch 5 Aloyalgamers? It's just sort of like, it's sort of like that. I mean, yeah, we're all unique, but I've been noticing that game choice has been sort of, it hasn't really been varied. It's just been Nintendo stuff. So it's sort of like, what we need to do is diversify our game content if we want to, be unique and really stand out from each other. But other than that, it's just sort of like, oh, here's our dime a dozen now. And it's, again, I know it really sucks for me to say this, but that's just how I observe it. That's how the community's evolved. There's just so many of us now that the viewers are sort of like getting full of us, And on top of that, a lot of the older viewers who were around 4 years ago, they're starting to leave because it's sort of like, well, I outgrew that, hobby, watching Let's Players fool around with games. And a lot of good Let's Players are leaving. A lot of good Let's Players are leaving too, because, well, the community turned to shit, or they just outgrew the hobby, or real life stuff happens. And it happens, and it's sad, yes, but, it's just the way it is. So, I hope that I didn't anger anybody, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to speak my opinion about how things are. Even though I didn't really offer a solution for this video, it's already 18 minutes, what more am I going to say? But, in terms of solution, I honestly don't know what to do for the newer guys who are starting out. I really don't. You can do shoutouts all you want to, but it's ultimately up to the viewers on whether or not they want to see these new Let's Players or not. It's really not a matter of, oh, the bigger Let's Players are hogging all of the viewers and not sharing with the smaller Let's Players. That's what the smaller Let's Players seem to be ranting about, and that's not the case at all. The case is that these viewers choose to only see the bigger Let's Players because they're proven to give out good quality content. They upload regularly. They do games they like. And why go to anybody else when they give you all that they need? Especially when they do like 2-3 projects at a time. What's the point of watching a new Let's Player, Like, I'm at the point, personally, where I don't even watch all of my friends anymore. Like, with real life kicking in, I just don't have the room to watch new Let's Players. I honestly tried. I tried to vouch for the newer Let's Players. I tried to keep watching them, but it's too much for me to keep up with personally. I got stuff to do. I don't have as much time to kill as I did when I started this hobby. And my throat's closing up. My voice is kind of dying out a little bit. And I should probably stop this video before I kill myself. So, the solution, I don't know about a solution. I really don't know. I'll think of one, and then I'll post it as a video response. So until then, damn it. This is ALG signing out, sharing my opinions with people. Hopefully it'll give you something to think about. Any comments, questions are welcome. Have a good day.